Hello guys, we're in 2026 now, so Happy New Year, and we have been playing Chaos Zero Nightmare for a bit over 2 months now. And when there is a new gacha game that I enjoy, in addition to the game mechanics, character team building and all the sort of stuff, I also like to try to figure out what is the business idea of the company in regards to character design and character releases, because very often it can give us an idea of what to do for our future pools in order to better use our resources and avoiding wasting crystals in the case of Chaos Zero Nightmare, pulling for characters that in the short time look like a great investment and then they end up being duds, essentially. With that said, as a disclaimer, the rule number one of gacha games in general is only pull for characters that you like. I know it sounds like an obvious thing, but not everyone has been playing gacha games for a long time. And if, like me, you have been playing them for quite a few years, you will probably have a history of characters that you pulled for and that you regret doing so, either because you didn't really like them, or they were weaker than you expected, or anything like that, really. And for me, the most important part is liking a character. The design, the characterization, the gameplay, more so than spreadsheets and stuff like that. So, for example, if a content creator, anyone really, including me, tells you, oh, the next week there is going to be released Slurdo. If you don't have Slurdo, you barely classify as a human being. Look at the spreadsheet, look at the chart. Slurdo is absolutely insane. You need to... No, tell them to fuck off. If you don't like Slurdo, you don't pull for Slurdo. That applies in any gacha game, really. And I could give you plenty of examples of my games where I pulled for a character because it was supposed to be busted, and yeah, maybe it was busted, but I really disliked playing that character for whatever reasons. Venti, Yula. But let's move on to the main topic of the video, which is the state of the combatants that have been released in Chaos Zero Nightmare so far. And those are Haru, Kizuru, well, Yuki first. So Haru, Yuki, Kizuru, and then Serenia. And there is a, slight disparity in how these four characters perform, in particular one of them. The first three characters that we got, Haru, Yuki and Kizuru, left many people scratching their heads and raising multiple eyebrows, because all of them barely feel like upgrades over standard banner characters, especially if you pulled someone like Meilin, or you built a very good Renoa, or a very good Rukeiron. Playing Haru, like what? Or Kizuru, like what? And everyone complained about Yuki's damage output when she was released. Because in particular Yuki had no content designed around her. Absolutely zero. When Haru was released and we were slowly grinding our way to the end game, the highest tier of a Chaos Exploration enemies were weak to Justice damage. Haru deals Justice damage, so although she feels like a trial character because she has one card that deals damage, two if you build her in a wonky way, at least you were dealing more damage than some other characters, although there was always the Meilin hiding in the shadows trying to Meilin mog Haru because the damage disparity between the two is quite embarrassing. Yuki had no content designed around her. Like, we got Yuki, yeah, let's go to play her. Everything is weak to chaos damage and occasionally passion damage, and the difficult content in the game is single bosses where Yuki deals AoE damage. It was abysmal. I cleared everything with Yuki because I really like her. I pulled multiple copies of Yuki, and I invested quite a bit in her fragments. Her build is not very good, but she is, I would say, top 2 on my account. So I managed to make her work, but it was not a fun time for me. Not at all. There was clearly something problematic regarding Yuki's output, Yuki's damage output, and the developers very soon after release mentioned, I believe on the official Discord, that we're hearing what you're saying, and they announced that they were going to change some of her epiphanies to make her more useful. and more playable, but I'm not expecting her numbers to go up for something that we will talk about later. Kizuru felt a little bit better to play to me, mainly because she's a void damage dealer, and the Laboratory Zero, basically everything is weak to void damage, so already plus for Kizuru. And in general, she's a very self-reliant character, meaning that her combos, you don't need to absolutely have a specific team combined with two other specific combatants that all get specific epip. No, Kizuru is fine. You can build her for the giga spam of a moon card, or you know, the normal attack card. But they're all fine. But I define her as a character with a low ceiling, because the only way for her to really shine and deal damage that makes you go whoa is if you keep adding stacks, extra hits for multiple turns, and then you have a single turn where her card deals 500 million damage. And you know, in the past you could have hidden this, but then the developers introduced the turn counter, and you know, those showcases where Kizuru deals 50k damage in one hit because her card has plus 200 hits on turn 57, they don't look as impressive as Meilin combining with Veronica and doing the same thing on turn 3. So, you know, Kizuru forever BTFO. Then we got Serenial, who is our first limited combatant, seasonal limited combatant. And at Manifestigo Zero, her performance is amazing. She performs so well that I could not even believe that she was part of the same game where Haru, Yuki and Kizuru were released. In addition to her performance in a vacuum, I have found all her epiphanies to be at the very least usable. There are some that I always prefer, absolutely, like the homing laser that is back in your hand at the start of a turn and on break. It's my favorite by far, but I noticed that even the others have some interesting synergies. Like for example the one that brings back all the other lasers from the graveyard to your hand. There are some times that you have kind of a dead turn, because you cannot break the enemy, you did not draw into your cool card, you use that card, all the lasers go back into your hand, you end up having a very nice turn, where you can dish out a lot of damage. And this applies to pretty much all of her cards and all of her epiphanies, so she's a very well designed character. Then we got to the discussion of, is the game centered around her? Well, we're still clearing Laboratory Zero, which is mostly weak to void damage, so she's not supposed to shine there, but she has game mechanics that help her to break the enemy. So she doesn't really care too much about the enemy not being weak to instinct. If the enemy is weak to instinct and you have Serenial, it's like whatever, GG. But in general, she doesn't care about it too much. She kinda ignores that game mechanic, which is something that I approve. Then we have the leaderboard, and she's the number one by far. There is the argument to be made that if you are giga tryharding for the leaderboard, Cassius with a specific build is actually dealing way more damage than Serenial is, and Serenial is the one who is enabling Cassius. So it's a different thing, but still Serenial is in the team that is performing the best in the leaderboard for our for the boss fight of this season. And another thing that I like is, since she does not absolutely rely on any epiphany in particular, you can try hard going for 3 or 4 copies of a specific card with a specific divine epiphany, but more often than not you don't need it. Some of my most reliable save files have no divine epiphanies at all. It's just a solid card with the regular epiphanies that I like the most, an ambush or two, you know, the neutral card called ambush that comes back to your hand when you ravage the enemy, and that's it. She's going to be absolutely amazing in the leaderboard thingy, in the basin. She clears absolutely everything. The difference in the balancing between Serenial and Haruyuki Kizuru made me think that the long-term plan for Smilegate is to have a game that is not new combatant is better than old combatant, but rather seasonal combatants are better than standard combatants. And this is a little bit similar to experience that I had in other games, such as Reverse 1999 and kinda Guardian Tales. And this is something very important to keep in mind when planning future pools. I can give you the example of Reverse and Guardian Tales. In Reverse 1999, all the characters went to a standard banner. You could get them anytime after they were released, and they would get reruns, no worries. And then occasionally, you would get one limited character who was really limited. Like, we're releasing this character who is absolutely busted. It's the most broken thing in the game. It's never getting a rerun, very likely. And everyone was like, what? We would all rush to pull for that character. And the same thing would happen again later on, with a new limited character being really limited and absolutely busted. So, sure, you wanted to pull for the other characters when they really fit your teams, when you really like them, but at the same time you wanted to have a stack of pulls for the limited characters that you don't know if they would ever rerun. And Guardian Tales did something similar for the... I believe it was the very first collaboration, the one with the Slayers. And when the collaboration was announced, they said, it's a time-limited collaboration, it will never be rerun again, but don't worry guys, the characters of the collaboration are not going to be meta, we don't want to do that. And people started to play it, and Lina Inverse from the collaboration was the most broken unit in the game. And Guardian Tales has PvP, at least had. A lot of changes went through Guardian Tales, so what I'm telling you is probably not up to date. But back then, a lot of people focused on PvP, and there were two PvP game modes. In both of them, Lina was by far the best character. If you didn't have her, you were doomed. Like, there was absolutely no way, and there was a bit of uproar about that. Not necessarily for the fact that the limited character was insane, but for the fact that they clearly said, we don't want it to be meta because it's a limited, and then it turned out to be the most OP character in the game. At the moment we do not have this in Chaos Zero Nightmare, there is no PvP, Serenial is going to get a rerun eventually, we don't know when it will happen, but it's going to happen eventually. But it's something to keep in mind because overall the progress of the game has something similar to it. That gives me the feeling that the characters like Haru, Yuki, Kizuru, yeah, you can get them if you really like them, if they really fit one of your teams, but you want to have a little bit of, you know, a stash of crystals saved up. And the issue with the Serenial is that being a seasonal character, she's only available for some time, she will not be added to a standard banner, so there is no chance to randomly get her, unlike Kizuru, who pretty much everyone on my Discord server got while pulling for Serenial. And, you know, it's a little bit painful as a thing. Because your collection is going to suffer from it, your account is going to suffer from it. And if you kinda like Serenial, you don't know how long you will have to wait until you can get her. And in general, I believe that characters like Serenial, seasonal characters in general, if they stay at this power level, in the long term are going to be the safest investment. If you want your account in general to be able to tackle all the endgame content and get all the max rewards from all the challenges that Smilegate will throw at us. For the non-seasonal new combatants, we will have to be very careful about our pools, because it can happen that we have a seasonal character like Serenial, and the next non-seasonal character that is going to be released may be a support, either a controller or whatever kind, that is a perfect partner for Serenial. And then you may want to pull for that. To make your Serenial happy, if your Serenial is happy, you are happy, your brain releases sweet endorphins and everyone is happy about it. So it's good to save a little bit of crystals also for that, but I would definitely not invest too much into the non-seasonal new combatants. A reason being that, let's say that it really happens, that the next character is a perfect support for Serenial, and I will pull for her 100%, eventually I will be able to get her from the standard banner, or by losing a 50-50 on a limited banner, or purchasing copies from the shop. So, unless the first Manifestigo is literally something that makes the character playable, I would not consider pulling for multiple copies of a non-seasonal character, because saving is more important in the long run. And for me, the biggest question mark that is going to happen in the next few months is going to be the release of the first seasonal controller. Because power creeping damage dealers is the most basic thing you can do in any game. But for a controller, things are a little bit different, because you need to have the controller perform better than everyone else, or no one will be interested in pulling for that one. And performing better than other controllers in Chaos Zero Nightmare, you need to do a lot of things in terms of card draw, action point generation, buffs, debuffs, a lot of stuff. And at the moment we're all very happy with our Nias, our Mikas. Cassius is a controller, but he's a not the kind of controller, so I will not refer to it too much. And I believe it's going to be very important to have some saved up pools for the first limited seasonal controller, due to what happened to Astra in Zenless Zone Zero. You may not be playing that game, so let me enlighten you. At the beginning of the game, there were no 5-star support, limited 5-star supports. We only had the 4 stars, the standard banner one. Then we got a defense character, Caesar, who had some team buff abilities. And everyone was like, yeah, Caesar is great, she's better than everyone, she's a safe investment for the future, no one is ever going to power creep Caesar. Then there was Astra released, the first limited support. Astra power creeped everything in the game, to the point that if your team did not have Astra, you barely qualified as a human being, a bit like people skipping Zlur. And the difference was astounding, like it really made no sense. And so everyone who invested pools on Caesar was like, oh, but I don't like Caesar, I only pulled her because she was meta. Haha, forever BTFO. Don't pull for meta, pull for characters that you like. Because the people who like Caesar and pull her because they liked her, they didn't care too much about Astra clearly power creeping her. They were like, ah, okay, she's better, but I like Caesar. But in general, a 5-star controller that is a seasonal will have to be absolutely bonkers in Chaos Zero Nightmare. So we really have to be careful with our pools, because the game, the developers so far have been very generous. The events give us a lot of crystals, we have login events, every now and then they apologize that I don't even know what it is, like, oh, something happened in Korea, we're sorry, here, 50 pools, like, what are you talking about? I mean, thank you, but what? And, you know, we have a lot of resources given from the dev to us, we need to be a bit careful about them, because we don't know when the lever, you know, the grid lever will be pulled, and the power creep will be unbearable. Because at the moment, getting max rewards from all the events in the game, I wouldn't say it's trivial, but fairly simple. Everyone struggled during the last few weeks because our characters were low level, we didn't have credit, we didn't have materials to level up characters, we didn't have potential, we were all using green and blue fragments, you know, we were all in an abysmal condition. But now that, you know, our accounts are getting built a little bit better, everyone goes to the basin and auto-clears it. And the only thing for which the meta discussions really matter are the leaderboards. I don't care about the leaderboards at all. For me, the leaderboard is not a challenge of who plays the best, but a challenge of who has the most time available to throw at the game. There is nothing wrong with that, but I just can't. I have a full-time job, I need to take care of my family, and I play multiple hours a day of a game, but I'm not giga grinding 10, 12 hours a day on each character to get the perfect save file and then go to the leaderboard and be like, haha, here I am. No, I really don't care about that. If, like me, you don't care about the leaderboard, you don't check what is your percentage, I don't even know what's mine, but you only want to get 500k points to get the max rewards, you have a lot more freedom in how to use your crystals, and you also have a lot fewer things to worry about, because making it to 500 is very easy. You just need to have reasonable teams. And, you know, pretty much everyone has Cassius built to some extent, you don't even need multiple copies. And you can make things work to get the max reward even without having to worry about the leaderboard. Now, if you have the time to throw out the game, sure, go for it. That's not something that I'm interested in doing. Another thing that is kinda ruling gacha games, but not just in gacha game, but in any game ever, is that nothing is future-proof. Because new combatants and partners, they have to get stronger, or people will not be interested in pulling for them if new character is a slop compared to the old one. And at the same time, enemies have to become stronger, more difficult, with more challenging game mechanics, or they will be boring, and you will just clear everything on autoplay, and eventually you will not even pick up the game anymore, because it doesn't give you the sense that you are accomplishing anything. This is not just, oh no, gacha games are bad because of power creep. It's been like that in any game in the history of the world of gaming. If you have played any game that has been going on for a while, that had patches, new releases, or stuff like that, the new gear was stronger than the older gear. The new characters were stronger than the older characters. The new enemies, and so on and so forth. And you know, if you've ever played an MMO, like when the first expansion of World of Warcraft was released, were the new enemies lower levels? I don't think so. Were the bosses easy? I don't think so. Were the raids easy, doable solo, just to make sure that everyone could get their rewards? I don't think so. Was the gear trash so that no one was interested in farming for it? I still don't think so, you know. People often complain about this in gacha games and go on Reddit to start to complain, oh, power creep, HP inflation. And then there are other people with under 50 IQ who upvote and like, yeah, the IQ inflation is why I cannot clear the endgame. It's not that I am dog shit at the game. Be careful with your pools also for that, because if you expect a character to be future-proof, no, it's not going to be future-proof unless it's the last game released and the game is going end of service. Then that one maybe is future-proof. But never fool yourself into thinking that I'm pulling for this character, I'm sure that 5 years from now it's still going to be the top dog. No, there is no spreadsheet. There is no shenanigans that will allow that to happen. It's not going to happen. Just know what you're walking into. Like, I pulled for Serenial, and eventually I got to Manifestigo 6 Serenial, because I really like her. I know that a few months down the line there is going to be a damage dealer who at Manifestigo 0 is going to be better than Serenial. I 100% guarantee it's going to happen. And I will take... note of this video that I'm probably releasing today on the 2nd of January 2026, and I will link to this when a character that at Manifestigo 0 is better than Serenial at a Manifestigo 6. It's going to happen. Probably by the end of 2026. If not 26, definitely 27, but we shall see. So the way I see myself managing my account in the coming months is going to be that I want to have a stack of crystals saved up before each seasonal cycle, so that I can guarantee getting the seasonal character if it's someone that I like and that fits my overall account. For example, if the next season, the seasonal character is another instinct damage dealer, maybe I will be like, maybe I will skip this one. I'm pretty happy with the Serenial. But if I differentiate the releases, and the next one is going to be, I don't know, an order damage dealer, and then the one after that, a controller of whatever element, I want to be able to cover my bases and have a guarantee of getting every seasonal character, at least one copy, at least for collection. And for the standard characters, the standard combatants, I think that I will only consider pulling them when they perfectly fit a seasonal character that I like and that I play all the time. At the moment, my Serenial, when I do Chaos runs, she's always with Veronica, due to the unique card shenanigans. The third character is more flexible. It can be Rei, can be Kizuru. Who is Shizuku? She must be a character in an anime, because I cannot think of any gacha game I'm playing with a character of that name. Whatever, my brain works in mysterious ways, even for me. If we get a new standard combatant, like I mentioned earlier, who is a perfect partner for Serenial, and the story kinda gave us a hint at that it could be possible, then I will definitely be getting the character. I do like Serenial, she's best girl. Otherwise, there will be a lot of skips from yours truly when it comes to standard combatants, because eventually we're going to be, not eventually, right after the release, right after the banner, we're going to be thrown in the standard banner, and eventually we're going to get them. Now, my account is a little bit cursed, because every lost 50-50 is a Hugo Manifestigo. But, you know, for normal people, you're going to eventually get other combatants as well. But we shall see. Anyway, that was my plan, and it's a guess on what Smilegate is going to do in terms of character and game development, and I decided that is going to be my strategy in the coming months. Although, always remember, only pull for characters you like. Don't pull for Venti and Iula. Bye guys and take care.